So we're going to start with some of the questions that have been posted during the presentations, and we'll let you respond. I'm going to basically let you know when they were asked and during whose presentation, and then we can go back and forth. So Dr. Nora, they wanted to know where were these geographically performed?
Most of them were in the southwest part, in Texas.
Okay. And then I'm going to bounce between Dr. Nora's questions and the Valley Communities Foundation. And so we'll let Mary Alice or Dan or Giovanni decide who you want to answer this question. Is that they're looking for some advice on how to have heart-to-heart conversations with Hispanic parents and their teenage daughters to discuss their wishes for their child and reconcile that with their daughter's abilities and ambitions.
Yeah, you know, that's something that we do address in some of the workshops. One of the aspects, and let me pull up the workshops again. One of the aspects that we cover in well, essentially in workshop 1 is establishing that vision and those goals for their family. It really kind of establishes the practice of sitting down with the family, communicating, having family regular not only family meetings, and I talked earlier about sit-down dinners with the family being very critical. You know, having those heart-to-heart conversations and really doing that. Parents Guide to Positive Behavior Management as well really kind of deals with positive ways of speaking with your child and just communicating what their strengths are and really supporting them.
Yeah, well, something else that I want to add to that is there's something that we see a lot, particularly in the Hispanic community, in relation to their daughters. When it comes to having when a female student wants to pursue a STEM career, it's really perceived more as a male type of career, and that's a perception that we've been trying to change. We also see a lot of Hispanic parents being reluctant to allow their kids to go go far for college. So if they will go to a different city, and that's also another challenge that we face. We have a lot of students that are accepted into great university, Ivy League universities, that when it comes down to it, their family or their parents don't support that decision, and that's it's a really tough situation for a lot of students. But it's something that we continue to try and address and shift that mindset that, you know, STEM careers are for it doesn't matter whether you're a female, a girl, or a boy, and that seeking opportunities outside your current geographic location is also a great opportunity that shouldn't limit a child's ambition.
I couldn't agree more. That's for sure. Dr. Nora, this question was posted during your presentation. Is there additional information, journals, articles on urban students and STEM in regards to writing a grant?
Yes, there is. And Ellen Flynn, I can go ahead. I have your email address, and I'll go ahead and respond to you even more so, because just as I was, looking at the question, I thought of Gloria Chris, Lindsay Malcolm, Tatiana Melguzo, Silvia Hurtado, Anne-Marie Nunez, Alberto Cabrera, Kathy Horn, who have done a lot of research in terms of STEM and have written on it. But I'll get all those references to you by email, okay?
Oh, wow. Talk about personalized. That's awesome. Thank you, Dr. Nora.
Sure.
And then we have another question for the Valley Communities Foundation. Did you have make any efforts in middle school to inspire students' STEM interest and that might affect their likelihood to major in STEM careers or to complete a degree?
Yes, this is Dan again. So one of the pieces of our work that we really didn't focus on too much is a huge concentration in the middle school. When we first got started back in 2008 with the research and working with grassroots organizations, shortly after we were approached by a local school district to develop hands-on college and career readiness experiences for middle school children. We began conducting a lot of STEM camps, if you will, on Saturday mornings, working with middle schoolers anywhere from 6th to 8th grade. In engineering, we did robotics, forensic science, and expanded those into others over the last years. I was just sharing with Dr. Reyes and Giovanni earlier today that I ran into a parent that looked familiar. You know, I was at my son's school, and I approached her, and she said she remembered me from the Encore program because her son attended when he was in middle school, and he loved the engineering program that we did, and she said he actually just graduated from high school, and he's attending the local university pursuing a degree in mechanical engineering because of the work that we did with him. So a lot of, and we continue to do this work, by the way. This is nothing that we've discontinued. We continue to work with local school districts in supporting hands-on, fun, engaging learning opportunities for students in middle school primarily.
Great, great. Dr. Nora, one of our participants wanted to know what you meant by validation by faculty.
Yes. Actually, that comes out from the validation theory that has been proposed by Dr. Laura Rendon at UTSA. And basically what we're looking in terms of validation is when the students are in the classroom, when they're asked to participate, when they're brought into, drawn into, to participate, that you validate their attitude, that you validate their perceptions, that you validate their information, even in times when in fact they may not be totally correct, that in fact the fact that they are asking and being involved is a sense of making sure that you make sure that they are a part of the discussion and a part of that whole classroom experience. That's what the validation is about.
That is very helpful. The Texas Valley Community Foundation, they wanted to know, did you have any statistics on how many children of the parents who completed PASOS enrolled in college or completed degrees?
Actually at this point, because of our focus on the PASOS so far has been primarily in middle school, a lot of obviously completed high school and gone on to college. However, we do collect data, and if you see, actually, it's part of the materials that you can download from the webinar, and you'll see that the current data that we're focusing on is mostly on the impact on the behavior of parents at home, the impact of the parents' relationship with schools, the involvement with the schools, the parents' knowledge, and the factors that actually affect their involvement, the scope of the data collection that we've been doing. And of course, we're looking forward to, as more years of implementation, we want to see whether this program is actually making an impact as far as how many students are actually going to college and completing college. Another area that we want to look into is we're partnering, and actually we're talking to school districts to be very strategic as to what parents are going to be participating in these sessions. That way we can pull the data from the students, from their children, before they participate in the PASOS program, and then we want to compare that at the end of the year after the parents have completed the program, graduated, and implemented a lot of the strategies, and see if there's been a impact as far as grades, truancy, or missing school behavior, and that sort of thing. So we're currently actually working with school districts and trying to, in structuring those surveys and the way that we're going to collect that data.
Yes, I remember the discussions with you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the data does say. I know intuitively it really seems like it would make a big difference.
If I may briefly, this is Dan again. One of the other things that we're focused on, and I wanted to make sure to get this in before we hung up, but is building the capacity for PASOS in our communities and reaching out to more parents. We've actually, since we last met with you, we worked on an expansion model and a capacity building model for school districts so that we come into a district and train key individuals from that district, and they continue the work with PASOS, and we've actually developed a 5-year outlook model that has us implementing PASOS and training local staff members with our current partners so that in 5 years we'll have impacted over 5 communities. So we do have the ability, if anybody on the webinar is interested in learning more about PASOS and implementing PASOS in their communities, it is definitely possible now with full training and facilitation guides that we offer to be able to duplicate what we do here, curriculum included as well. So thank you.
Right, and I did post the link to the Valley Communities Foundation website, but if people want it later, they can email us and we will definitely forward it on to them. And we had a flyer for that people could download. Dr. Nora, Leslie wanted to know, here it is, were there other pre-college factors used in the college study? For example, the student's interest in math and science in high school, or third-generation Hispanics?
No, that to say that no, they were not. Not that we didn't think about them because we knew that they were very important. What happened was that our survey started getting longer and longer and longer. I think we had about a total of 350 items. No, I take it back. I'm sorry. We started out with 350, ended up with about 197. And so we felt that if we kept on going, students were inclined to go ahead and respond to our survey. So we had to leave some things out and sacrifice both in the pre-college and the collegiate experiences some of those variables. So I'm sorry to say we didn't include those in our study.
Yeah, such a balance. I know I'm working on developing a survey right now, and we've got to cut it back, and it is so painful on trying to decide what to cut out, you know? I have a question.
It's a balance between did I capture all of the important things I wanted versus is it too long and students are going to get tired?
Exactly. Whoever is filling out the survey, that's for sure. I have a question for everyone on here, the Valley Communities Foundation and Dr. Nora. And I guess we can start with Dr. Nora first, if you're prepared. Vicki wanted significant differences between the naturalized and the first-generation Hispanics, or the second and third-generation Hispanics. Did you find anything there?
We didn't have that specific breakdown in our data set, so we were not able to look at those differences. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Again, trying to collect. What do we collect? Did y'all see anything in your PASOS or Encore program? Or the graduate?
Yeah, well, in PASOS, what we do is having the concurrent sessions with English and Spanish going on. It really does, we do see a difference in those workshops. It just so happens that Giovanni, in most occasions, facilitates the Spanish workshops, and I facilitate the English. If our workshops are over at noon, I get wrapped up in my cars and driving home, and I walk over to help Giovanni pack up, and he still has a group of 10 to 15 parents that are staying with more questions and have those desires to or are seeking out that information more so, I should say.
That is so encouraging, you know. It really is. We have one last question that's outstanding, and this one is for Dr. Nora. Has research been conducted on the rate of the Hispanic graduates with STEM degrees actually getting STEM jobs? Are you in the STEM field?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's being conducted by the REL.
Yes, it is. And soon to be coming out, we do hope. Did you know of any others besides we are conducting?
I think I might have heard of one other grant program at another university that I think we're beginning to look at that, but I don't know how far they are already into their data collection or data analysis.
Right, right. It's a long process. It really is. And anyway, I would like to thank everyone here and all of our presenters. Y'all have been just absolutely awesome, and your answers have been so insightful. And all of our participants and their great, great questions. And,
Heidi?
Yes.
If I may, I'd just like to address real quick Leslie's question, I think, related to incentives for the teachers to stay in the program or to stay in the district. The teachers sign to stay 3 years after they receive their degree in their districts. So wanted to mention that. And then I think it was Katie that mentioned how is the TGC funded. And the member districts are the ones that contribute into the program and support the program. So there is a membership fee to participate as Math Teach Collaborative members.
Well, I'm glad you caught those, Mary Alice. I didn't meant to, but I missed them. So thank you for your attentiveness. And again, everyone, thank you so very much.